Welcome to Retro Fanfic Retrospective, the podcast where we dredge up old fanfiction and expose it to the cold, harsh light of 2019. My name is Amado, and with me are...
Tory. Just Tory.
I think I hear some crickets. Maybe not. No crickets.
They're out there somewhere. Just like the truth.
This might be the first time we've tried to record an episode with only two people.
Yeah, it's definitely the first time it's been the two of us.
Yeah, definitely. Because of unfortunate circumstances, which is just Dom being sick, that's all. There's no dramatic story.
Yeah, well, Dom has the flu, which is kind of dramatic. I feel like anytime anyone has the flu, it's dramatic.
It's not.
I think it is.
It might feel dramatic when you are the one with the flu, but to any outside perspective, it's extremely banal.
Maybe that's my empathy acting up.
Oh yeah, need to try to quash that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the train must roll ahead. Like, Dom's not here. We're just gonna try to realize, what our relationship is like without Dom as a buffer.
Right.
Hopefully not too antagonistic.
What our relationship is like is we're just going to talk about Utena the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Because we threw around some ideas about what we could do at last minute that did not involve actually talking about a story that we've both read, because there's nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we've landed on something very, very special that I've just been itching for an excuse to talk about. But we'll get to that in a moment. First off, we're talking about Revolutionary Girl Utena. That's what we're going to be doing.
Yep.
Tonight. And we've talked about that before, a long time ago.
Sort of briefly. I don't feel like either of us really got a chance to fully explore our passion for the subject.
I suppose, and it was a single-digit episode. It was like episode 8 or something, so I don't really remember everything we talked about anyway.
Yeah.
Let's see. Utena's a series that we're both really into. Not so much actively these days, but that has a significant part of our life. Just last episode, you were talking about how... Haruka, Sailor Moon was like an influence on you and your life. When did you run into Utena in comparison to Sailor Moon?
Oh, man.
Much later, I assume.
Yeah. Not till college, because that was another one that Taran showed to me, and I assume that Taran got that from you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of funny because, for our listeners who aren't aware of the existence of Taran, who's been a guest a couple times.
Several times.
Yeah. But, if you don't listen to every episode, Taran and I were, really close in college, and that's actually how I met Amado and Dom and a lot of other people, and also through other guest Galen, who's Taran's sibling. But a lot of things that Amado and Dom and Taran shared in, middle school or high school are things that Taran showed me when I was in college, and Taran and I were hanging out a lot.
Mm-hmm. I just kind of crafted Taran into an engine to perpetuate the things that I like.
It sort of seems like it. And of course, my friendship with you and Dom followed very, closely along with that. But yeah, Taran exposed me to Utena, and I mean, I'd had exposure to Utena on the internet before, but I just never had a chance to watch it. And my main point of view was lesbians really like it, and apparently it's about being a lesbian. But then some people on the internet were like, no, it's not. So it actually felt like there was a lot of tension about that, which is very bizarre to me because it's clearly about being a lesbian.
It's not about being a lesbian. Are we going to have this controversy right now?
No. I think it's
definitely
about
gender, and it's about abuse.
Yeah.
And being a lesbian, I feel like, is not something that's approached... I mean, it's almost approached sometimes in a way that is, somewhat kind of like an issue you might have in the real world, but I feel like most of the time, not as much.
Yeah, well, let's talk about that a little, because to me, what it is that Utena as a character is a tomboy and is basically bucking normative gender roles at every turn.
For sure.
And from this perspective of Utena coming out, what years? Sometime in the early 90s?
Yeah, 96, I want to say.
Okay. I feel like there's ways in which it's short-sighted, because it wants to talk about gender, and of course it does it in a really cis way with the flowers, the roses representing vaginas, the swords representing penises. Which is fine.
Whoa! That's a real deep delve there into Utena symbology.
Oh my God!
I'm not sure anyone's.
Knew?
Yeah, I'm not sure that's been brought up before.
Yeah, but it's one of those things where we're coming from this kind of 90s Japanese perspective of culture where girls fulfill specific, very traditional roles and boys do the same. So I guess you can say, yeah, it's not specifically about being a lesbian in the sense of like a girl liking girls, but it's about being gay in the sense of not conforming to traditional marriageable roles.
Yeah, I think that's very fair. And so did it have any influence on you, or were you pretty much well shaped at that point?
Huge. But, you know, the first time I watched it, I was probably 20 or 19. I think I had so much that was unexplored for me that it sparked something. I thought it was this beautiful piece of media. I wanted to analyze the shit of it because, you know, I was an English major. But I don't think it fully, you know, the weight of the gender exploration it was doing at the time, I kind of looked at it as like, well, you know, I don't understand why it's such a big deal. You know, that Utena not acting like a traditional woman should be such a big deal. And having the cultural context now in the context that it's more about gender and its constructed roles and also gayness has made me, I guess, fully understand it a lot more and relate to it a lot better.
Now, you've been talking about Utena as a series and Utena as a character here, but the work we're about to engage with here is very Juri-centered. Any thoughts on Juri? Did you feel attached to Juri when you watched it?
The first time I really didn't like her.
Well, she's a jerk.
Yeah, because
She's
she
just
is a
super bad.
jerk.
I mean, but come on, like we were talking about Haruka last episode.
I know.
Haruka's also a jerk.
And you know, actually, this is really funny because I just started rewatching Sailor Moon starting from,
S?
yeah, is S the one where the season, yeah, it's S where they first turn up, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's starting from there because, you know, it's a little redundant to watch the first two seasons again.
First
I've
season's
seen
pretty
so-
good. You can kind of just skip the
good,
second
but
one.
it's like, yeah, you know, I wanted to start there, and I was like, oh yeah, Haruka's like way more of a jerk than I remember. Like,
yeah.
all about this fighting, but her character changes, and she changes into a much more lovable character.
She mellows out for sure by stars.
Yeah, but
Mostly.
I looked back at it and I was like, I liked her at the time because she's like this strong, you know, woman with, you know, short hair who people mistake for an attractive guy and all this stuff that like I was trying to be as a teenager. But yeah, her character, like as I look back and I was like, I like Michiru better. Like she's kinder. She's still very strong and confident, but she's just like a lot more sweet and questioning of the mission, which people actually have to die for their mission.
Well, we're drifting off of...
Yeah.
No, actually, we can tie that in pretty well because
Yeah.
Juri's kind of like a combination of Haruka and Michiru crammed into one extremely cool person.
Yeah, like, and where I was going with that too is like, what was being led into is it's like, kind of the opposite thing. Like I idealized Haruka as, you know, like a 12-year-old or 13, 14, however old I was when I saw that. But Juri, I saw when I was like 20, and I was like totally rejecting of that hardness she has. But now I have a lot more empathy for it. It's like I get where it comes from.
All right.
But how do you feel about Juri as a character?
About Juri? I mean, Juri's not someone you'd want to hang out with. I like her. I've never been that into like her as a character or character exploration or, you know, fanfic about her or whatever. I think she benefits somewhat from the general, like, when you have a really cool character, the less they do, the cooler they are. And Juri's at that sweet spot where the fact that she gives Utena a sword and it takes like, you know, 5 seconds at one point makes her just super awesome.
Yeah. She has really awesome moments. And I think that's one of those things where it's like
She does.
You kind of want her to be nicer.
And you can relate to just being totally messed up over an individual person and knowing intellectually that it's like totally dumb and harmful and not actually being able to stop your feelings.
Right, and that was like her humanizing quality was
Right.
to have this whole reason that she was so hard. Something that's been interesting to me to look back on these pieces of media, the characters, you know, I was either critical of or like idealized and later became critical of, is like remembering that these are representations of teenagers, which I think is
Kind of.
well, I think it really holds weight for Utena, and I also think it does for Sailor Moon. Because in Sailor Moon, they do a lot of teenage girl things, but like Haruka and Michiru are supposed to be the mature ones, but they're only a year older. So I do think Sailor Moon's kind of trying to represent that, like, they're taking on so much in their role that they're neglecting being teenagers. And in Utena, the whole point is adolescence and coming of age. And they also seek to create a dichotomy between Utena and, like, the characters who are slightly older or the characters who are in the student council. It's like those are the ones who have it all figured out. But I like looking at it as, like, no, they're also just, like, pretty hapless teenagers. Like, they're still navigating
It's certainly
gender and sexuality.
It's certainly much easier to be kind to characters like Toga and Saionji in your head when you're like, oh, they are trying to like be adults because they're trying to like do adult behavior in an active way because they think being an adult is like what you're supposed to do and what gives you power. And it's a little bit more forgivable from that perspective, I guess.
Yeah, and forgivable. I don't know. I don't know if I would say forgivable, but I guess maybe. Yeah, it's easier to understand because like teenagers are like that, like trying to do the grown up things. I think that's a big part of Utena is trying to do the grown up things, and Utena is the one who breaks the molds in terms of doing the grown up things.
That was a line from the Utena fanfic we did back in the day. Remember? I mean, not that exactly being the line, but in Other People. I think movie Shiori is escorted into that room by the Shadow, and the Shadow says, oh, don't worry, like, everything you did is forgiven. You were children.
Oh, right,
And Shiori's like, forgiven by who? And the Shadow says, by the author, of course. Though not necessarily the audience.
That was really good. That was a good story.
You didn't like it at the time. You preferred Exit Pursued by a Bear. Other People was one you didn't like so much.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, maybe I don't
You'll just have to
remember it
re-listen to
very
that
well.
episode. Just like all of our
Apparently,
listeners
yeah.
will have to do that.
Sometimes I have very strong opinions, and sometimes I don't.
We should move on.
Yeah.
Just so it's not all Utena talk the whole time. But for my own Utena background, I was really involved in the fandom for a handful of years there.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that.
Let's talk about me. There's not enough talking about me on this episode so far. That's what I think.
This is true.
So there's the website that was the center of Utena fandom. It still is in terms of websites. It's just that people no longer use websites, I'm pretty sure. It's all like Twitter, Tumblr. Yeah, websites are passé. But it's still an excellent resource, otori.nu. I think I sent in a dream at some point in high school because they had a subsection of like Utena-related dreams people had. And I don't know if I did anything else, but when they set up the forums, one of the webmistresses emailed me and was like, hey, like, I guess you contributed to the site before. We'd like to have you. Or maybe it was from some other communication. And I was like, I'm not very good at forums, but okay, sure. And then I basically continued to be not very good at forums. But then when I was living in Japan, I was, wanting to exercise my Japanese and had free time on my hands. And I started translating stuff for the Utena fan community. I was like, one of that wave. By now, there's so many people who are much better at Japanese than me. But at the time, like, I was the one in the Utena fandom who was willing to do that kind of stuff.
So this must have been like, how big was the fandom in this particular community?
I don't know how to judge. Not that big. I mean, tenacious.
Yeah, I mean, people who like Utena love Utena.
I pretty much love Utena, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's definitely shaped my kind of awareness of gender issues and abuse issues and stuff, too.
I just think it's one of those things that's really deep, like, it's dense, it's hard to parse. Like, when you understand it, if you really make the effort to get there and even understand the literal parts of it.
You just watch
then
that
it's
cow
great.
episode over and over and you're like, but what is it saying?
Exactly, yeah. What is it saying about
But the curry
cows?
represents what?
But what? And that's another part of it is there's silly parts and there's serious parts. So you also kind of have to wade through a lot if you're looking for the big plot reveals. Whereas if you're just looking for the silliness, you're going to be a little bit confused. I think it's a good synthesis of all of that, but I can see where a lot of people get confused by it.
So, I didn't write fan fiction. Like I said, I translated stuff. I did a Let's Play on the Utena forums of the Utena Sega Saturn game. Which, have you still not played that, Tory? No. You're a terrible Utena fan and a terrible friend.
Yeah,
And I'm
sorry.
going to say a terrible person.
It's all true. I confess.
Because helping translate that game was probably the big thing I did. Like, that's probably the biggest thing I did. someone showed up who was willing, like on the Utena fan forums, who was willing to mess around with the Sega Saturn programming, and that was really the sticking point of like finding people who wanted to translate it was not that hard. And I translated half the text, and someone else translated half the text, and then I like went through and did the editing. And it's not the best translation job, but we were just trying to get it done mostly. I would do some things differently if I was translating it now.
Is there a way to play that online or some such, or to find
The
it?
problem is Sega Saturn emulation is so janky. Like, it's really
Yeah.
hard to emulate for some reason. I mean,
That's the thing, is I've never actually owned a Sega system.
well, even if you
so-
owned a Sega Saturn, you would have to have it, like, hacked to play custom
Right.
burned CDs.
That's the other thing, which you can do very easily with the Dreamcast.
The Dreamcast is so much easier. I don't know why
Yeah.
the Saturn isn't. But this person who did the programming knew a lot more about the Saturn than I did. I think Endless was their handle online. And so, yeah, translating the Utena game. It's a visual novel, I snuck in a Gem and the Holograms reference. That's my favorite part about the translation process. Very tasteful.
Yes, as all Gem and the Holograms references are.
Right, innately. But also around that time that I was really active in the Utena fandom, another Utena fan game was produced. Dun dun dun, it's not ominous.
Are you sure? It sounded a little ominous there.
Well, that would be because of my ominous tones. One of the Utena web, what do you call it? Moderators. One of the moderators on the forums named Satirize made a text adventure game called Miracles Never Cease. 2010 it came out. I played it then. I remember really liking it. And it got some attention at the time, and then no one ever spoke of it again. And so I've always thought, like, I'd like to draw some attention back towards this game because I thought it was a really cool effort, and no one writes fan fiction text adventure games except Satirize this one time, as far as I can tell. But 2010, I've stretched our time frame a little bit, but I think I can say definitively 2010 is not retro.
Wait,
That's the Obama administration.
Yeah,
It's
it's
like-
not. It's not retro.
It's not
but
retro. It's just not.
We're also doing a special episode, so
That's right.
Yeah.
So when Dom couldn't make it, that's what I keyed in on, where something that the two of us would be excited to talk about, and I can maybe do something, break my own rules, live on the edge, do something from merely 9 years ago.
Also, like, to be fair, the fact that this is kind of a one-of-a-kind fan fiction, quote unquote, I think it's
And
something.
interactive fiction would be the term.
Yes. Fanteractive fiction.
So-
Makes it, worth the extension, I guess.
So the plan is, we're going to play this, or rather you're going to play this. I'm going to narrate it, because it's a text adventure game. I can read the text, on air, on podcast air. I will be the voice of the parser, I suppose.
And also because your voice is awesome and you're an incredible actor.
Thank you. That's why I get the big
And,
bucks for
yeah,
this.
and I just play games, so that's
Mm-hmm.
my skill.
Now, looking at the post that Satirize did here, let's see, gives the basic intro. They say pretty much straight off that it's, pretty lighthearted, not taking Utena too seriously, which is probably the best way to approach it if you're not, willing to make your fan fiction some kind of like tome manifesto, like some people are.
Man, that was the perfect way to put it. I'm marveling at the conciseness of that, because I've been struggling with parsing, like, how do you treat Utena? You either treat it like, I like this superficially, or you're like, I'm going to dive head in, and this is going to be my thesis, except I'm going to take 20 years to write my thesis about it.
Oh, FYI, I met the author of this because I went to RoseCon 2012. The webmistresses of Otori.nu put together a few fan conventions a couple times.
That's
And
cool.
that one was in Seattle, and it happened to be like just after I'd gotten back from Japan. And Seattle's not that far away
From Japan.
from Portland. So
Yeah.
I actually made it to that one. And met this author, met a bunch of other cool fans. And we've been recording for a while and haven't yet gotten to the content, so we should probably start the game. Are you ready, Tory?
Yeah, okay.
All right, then here we go. Dawn breaks and you face your first Saturday at Tory Academy. It took a long time to figure out where she went to school and even longer to arrange a transfer, but at last the time has come. Today will be the day you find the beautiful stranger you met once at a modeling interview and make her feel the same way about you that you do about her, which I guess is unhealthy obsession.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so I'm a model and a stalker, apparently.
They're not exclusive.
Well,
Uh,
apparently, yeah.
Today will be the day you seduce Arisugawa Juri. Miracles Never Cease, an interactive fiction by Satirize, Release 1, and then some serial number information that I don't understand. Now, it begins before this first room description saying, first time playing, type about. So I should probably ask, have you played a text adventure game before?
The answer is yes. I had to pause for a second because it's like, to me, not having played a text adventure game would be really bizarre.
Right.
But that's part of, I guess, my generation of
Yes.
games. So
We had weak enough computers that at some point you loaded up the text adventure games.
yeah, I mean, it was either DOS games or text adventures when I was young.
Your room. First time playing, type about. Do you want to type about or are we good?
Do I really need to know about my room? That's my question.
No, this is about the game.
Oh, about the game. Yeah, I could type about. Let's see
Okay.
what's up.
Welcome to Fulfilling Jury. Presumably, the author changed the title at some point and forgot to replace that one. Fulfilling Jury is also a pretty classy title, I've got to say.
Classy's not the word I would use.
Well, it's a good joke, because, Unfulfilled Jury is the name of our episode.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
This interactive fanfic tells your story as you attempt to score a date with the melancholy Arisugawa Juri. A few warnings: the game contains lime content. I don't remember that. Sexy but not sexually explicit, and has a definite Mary Sue sensibility.
Okay,
If
wait,
you-
wait. What's
yeah.
lime?
Lime? It means sexual content but not sexually
Oh,
explicit content.
that's in parentheses.
Are you not
Okay.
familiar with that terminology? That's old school anime
no,
fanfiction stuff.
I remember lemon and lime, but I was too young to know what those actually meant other than I shouldn't be like looking at it.
But you did, right?
Oh, I totally did. I still, but what's the difference between lemon and lime?
Lemon is
that's my
explicit,
question.
lime is not.
Okay. I got it now.
Lime
Cool.
would be like you're describing some kinds of moans or, I don't know.
Gotcha.
You got a sentence to write it off. I don't know.
There we go.
Anyway, says the game, if you have a favorite character, you should be prepared for them to be mocked. No one comes out of this story smelling like roses. Well, they're Otori students, so of course they smell like roses, but you know what I mean. On a more hopeful note, this game is designed to not be losable. Nothing you can do will result in losing the game, and you can't do anything that will prevent you from winning the game later. Winning is just a matter of ingenuity and perseverance.
Wait, so you literally can't lose this game?
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, you will win Jury's heart.
No, whatever you do, you will not put the game into a state in which you cannot proceed.
Oh. I
And
see.
that's not a given with text adventure games.
No, that's a good point. It's just, to me, that's not what losing or winning and losing means, right? Like, winning means you achieve the objective.
Right, so losing means that you don't, and in some text adventure games, you can put the game into a state where you do not win, period.
You can put it into a state where it becomes redundant and you're, like, stuck at a wall.
Well, you can also get thrown out of an airlock and die, or whatever.
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
playing
I
Hitchhiker's
see.
Guide to
I
the
see.
Galaxy.
No matter what you do, you'll be able to progress forward.
Right.
Right. It just depends on how long it takes. I get what you're saying.
All right, the About also says you can type how to play. If you don't know how to play a text adventure game, we can skip that. And there's a hint function as well. Back to your room. You just finished moving in yesterday, and the cramped accommodations provided by the academy don't really feel like home yet. In the corner by the window is your bunk bed, because there wouldn't be room in here for 2 futons, which you're supposed to share with some roommate you haven't met yet. The remainder of the room is occupied by a single desk, a low table, and a closet barely big enough for 2 people's clothes. The room's only door leads west to the corridor.
Okay. Should we... What's in the room again? Let's see. Single desk, low table, and closet barely big enough for 2 people's clothes. I definitely think we're being led to open the door.
Open door. That's not something you can open. The parser does not recognize that command. I don't think you
Okay.
actually need to open doors. I think you can just
Oh,
hit
okay.
west.
Yeah, let's go west.
You're just
Go
leaving
west,
the room?
young jury.
Nothing interesting
or
in this
young
room?
jury seeker.
You're not even going to
Well,
take all?
Oh, good point. I mean, I figured Yeah, okay. Let's
Maybe I should do this without the commentary. I don't know.
No, the commentary is good. Yeah, let's check out the room. Examine desk.
You can look desk,
Yeah, whatever.
because I don't have to type examine in that case. Examine desk.
Fair enough.
It's a generic wooden desk with a small built-in bookshelf and a couple drawers. There's a computer on top that you assume you're meant to share with your absentee roommate.
Loot drawers.
Loot drawer. That's not a verb I recognize.
Open drawer.
You open the drawers, revealing a how do you pronounce it?
Lascivious.
Lascivious, is that how you say it? I've never needed to.
Yeah.
Lascivious leaflet.
Leaflet?
Leaflet.
Like a pamphlet?
Yeah.
How is it lascivious?
Yeah.
Okay, well, we can use examine, right? Yeah, examine leaflet.
Look leaflet.
Oh, right. I don't like that. I like exam. You know, I never use look for things. This is just my style. But
I'm sorry, I'm not typing examine every time.
Look leaflet.
Vice Admiral Naji's guaranteed pickup lines. You picked this up for 30 yen at a garage sale. With this, you can seduce just about anyone, or at least that's the theory.
Okay, take leaflet.
Taken.
'Cause I don't know if it's actually going to help me because that sounds awful, but, you know.
Seduce might be a strong word for what the leaflet lets you do.
But it's all in caps, so it must mean something. Okay, what else is in our room?
Look. Bunk bed in the corner, desk with the PC, low table in the middle, small closet.
Look PC.
The computer has probably been here as long as the building, which you understand is the newer of Otori's 2 dorms. The computer is currently switched off.
Switch on.
What do you want to switch on?
The computer. Oh my gosh.
If you turn it on, you're going to spend the next 6 hours stalking Juri on MySpace, which strikes you as a silly thing to do when you could be spending that time stalking her in real life.
MySpace. Okay, stalk Juri in real life.
Stalk Juri. That's not a verb I recognize.
You just used it. Okay. So we have our bed. We could look at the bed, but I don't know. Yeah.
The beds are hardly large enough to roll over in, and the sheets have some pretty bad static cling. At least the pillows are nice and hard, though.
Excellent. Sounds like a great bed. All right. Look, what was it? Is there a dresser?
There is a closet.
Look closet.
It's not much, really. Just big enough to hold 2 people's clothes if neither of you is a fashion whore. There's also a mirror on the front.
Fashion whore.
There you go.
Beautiful. Ooh, look in the mirror.
You have apricot hair and gorgeous periwinkle blue eyes. Your zodiac sign is Scorpio, and your blood type is A, which makes you compatible with Juri, according to her Facebook page.
And I can see that in the mirror, too.
You like cute things, romantic movies, and evil schemes. You are wearing some cute pajamas. You are carrying a lavish, lascivious leaflet.
Okay, apricot hair and gorgeous periwinkle blue eyes. Wow, I'm so beautiful. I think we looked at everything in the room.
Right?
So I think we should head down the corridor.
West.
Yes.
South Dorm Corridor. The South Dorm is a newish building compared to the Otori campus up the hill, and its corridors are correspondingly modern, functional, metallic, and impersonal. You don't know any of your hallmates yet, so the rows of doors on each side of the hallway are of little interest to you. Your room, with a partial view of campus, is to the east. The common room, used for socializing, eating, and sometimes group studying, is to the south. The dorm's stairwell and exit lie north.
But we don't know where Juri is.
Nope.
I guess we can check out the common room.
Common room. The first floor common room seems to be constructed entirely of upholstery. There are lots of sofas and chairs, of course, and the shag carpeting adds to the illusion. There are a number of students hanging out in this room's bright natural light. Presumably they don't have class today, or else are skipping, not an uncommon practice on Saturdays at Otori, from what you understand. The corridor lies back to your north. This is under the impression that there is school in Japan on Saturdays, which used to be the case until it was kind of struck down as part of a response to, like, the suicide epidemic and stuff. That was a while ago. 96? I don't know exactly.
A lot of shows that I'm familiar with say that school is on Saturdays, like even relatively newer ones.
Well, private schools can also do what they want, and Otori is nothing if not private.
That makes sense.
Anyway, among the students relaxing in the common room is a wine-haired girl you met briefly while you were moving in. Her name is Tadatsuki Shiori, and she's in the same year as you. She's drawing in what looks like a large art journal.
Ooh, let's talk to Shiori.
You can't just walk up to someone and talk to her. You should ask her about something instead. Maybe about herself or the school or something else on your mind.
Good point.
So the command is ask Shiori about...
Ask Juri about her drawing.
You admire some of the pictures in Shiori's art journal, almost all of which turn out to be of birds. I draw birds a lot, says Shiori, almost apologetically. They're so beautiful. Sometimes I wish I could be a bird and escape from this place. You know, the academy, life. But I can't, so I just draw them. I will not be as good as Lisa Ortiz in voicing Juri. I'm sorry. Voicing Shiori.
That is A-okay, because I don't know if anyone is. Compliment drawings.
That's not a verb I recognize.
All right. What can I say to Shiori?
Ask Shiori about...
Ask Shiori about birds.
Same result as
Okay.
the pictures.
Ask Shiori about Juri. We'll see what it gets us.
Shiori goes red, apparently embarrassed, but she says tentatively, as if to a new friend, Juri, she makes me so frustrated sometimes. Like her locket, you know? She never takes it off. Never. Well, I guess probably to sleep and bathe, but I've never seen her without it. I know exactly whose picture's inside, too. It's this boy we both knew in middle school. It's hard to be close to someone like that.
Hard to be close to someone. Ask Shiori about the boy.
He's not even important anymore, long since out of both our lives, but she just can't let him go. That's just the kind of person she is. Juri's obsessing over a boy? You know she's the obsessive type, but that doesn't sound right somehow.
Ask Shiori. Where is Juri? No.
I'm not sure that'll work.
I don't think it'll work, but...
Nope. It has to be ask about.
I know, it has to be ask about. I just can't think of anything else to ask her about that would...
You could ask her about herself.
Yeah, okay. Ask Shiori about Shiori.
I think that's exactly how the parser wants you to do it, yes.
Yeah.
Me? Says Shiori a little shyly. I'd been meaning to introduce myself since I saw you move in, but somehow, well, you know. I'm Takatsuki Shiori, and I'm in 10th grade. I'm not sure what else to say about myself. I like drawing a lot. Want to see my journal?
Yes.
We did. We saw that already.
We saw it. But that's sweet. Shiori seems a lot sweeter in this.
Shiori's sweet enough to new peoples.
Yeah, to people, yeah, she doesn't know very well.
And when she's not in a movie.
Yeah, good point.
Would you like to seduce her?
I guess we could try out some of those pickup lines. Sure, let's see how they work.
Seduce, like I said, when I say seduce, that's not how this works out. Hey baby, does the carpet match the drapes, you ask, arching an eyebrow?
Oh.
Shiori flinches dramatically. Ugh, I'm not like that. Get away from me. So much for that plan.
Okay, I love that her reaction was, I'm not gay, rather than that's like a really disgusting way to talk to a person. Oh my god.
Yeah, well, seduce will result in a terrible pickup line every time.
I know, but...
Characters will react appropriately.
No, but she should react appropriately to that pickup line because it's gross. It's not at all appropriate or okay. But she reacts by saying, I'm not like that. Like, I'm not gay, basically, which is... She should react by
Shiori
being
feels
like,
the need to
that's inappropriate.
make that very clear, yes.
Yeah, I know. Shiori's like that. Shiori is like that. Okay. So much for that plan. I guess we should walk away from Shiori.
Back in the South Dorm corridor?
Mm-hmm.
North is out. East is our room.
Yeah, I know. So I guess we should just go north.
Stairwell. The square industrial-style staircase that leads to the upper floors makes for a stark contrast with the delicacy of Otori architecture. Fortunately, you have a first-floor room and never need to use the stairs. To the north, a door opens onto the sidewalk that curls up the hill and eventually onto campus. From here, you can head south into the dorm or hike to another location, such as Otori Academy.
Ooh, let's hike to Tory Academy. Let's see what's going on.
After an uphill climb and a stroll across the crowded bridge, you stand under the how do you say that? Filigreed arch that marks the entrance of Otori Academy. The whole campus, as your guide cheerfully pointed out at orientation, is shaped like a keyhole, or a burial mound, with the forest on top, and your mind automatically makes that way north no matter how much you can try to convince it that that way is west.
Oh my god.
That means that as far as you're concerned, this arch is at the southern tip of Otori Academy, because you always see it from that perspective,
Yeah.
right?
That's
The
beautiful.
campus proper stretches out before you, with the tower and adjacent school buildings dominating the view. Apropos of nothing, I had an entire class studying abroad in Japan about kofun, which are, the ancient key-shaped, burial mounds and stuff. Well, I mean, it wasn't all about kofun, but it mostly was.
sounds really interesting.
It's pretty interesting. There's fun things like, at some point the Japanese imperial family just kind of designating some randomly as being like the tombs of fictitious emperors that didn't actually exist. And
Huh.
so
Like randomly, like these exist, but they're supposed to be emperors now. Like,
there's like a emperor who probably founded the dynasty. And then there's some other emperors that definitely existed after that person. And in between those, you have a bunch of fictitious emperors that were created to make it seem like the, dynasty was around for longer.
right.
And because they existed, they felt the need to declare where they were buried.
So they just picked random
Yeah, basically.
graves to.
And
oh,
and you
that's
can't touch them because you can't dig up the imperial, graves
catch 22.
without extreme permission. Yeah, no way to check, of course.
Yeah, beautiful.
Fun times. So wait, who's buried under Otori Academy?
Good question.
I mean, maybe it's not actually a kofun. It's way too big to be a kofun. What am I talking about? It's just keyhole shaped, whatever.
It could be an Evangelion, giant Rei Ayanami. Okay. Anyway,
From here, you can venture onto campus or you can hike off campus.
let's venture.
Go campus. Venture to campus.
Really, it wants us to take.
Oh, north. It just wants to go north.
Oh,
Impressive entryway. You're walking on the wide path that links to the arch to the south with the tower that links the arch to the south with the tower to the north. The entryway is choked with students at the beginning and end of every school day. You're fashionably late since you're not planning on attending classes anyway, so only a few students are around.
oh. Let's see. Can we just talk to the students, or do we need to?
No.
Okay. If we go north, do we continue onto campus?
Suddenly, out of nowhere, emerges a terrifying visage. Her triangular jaw tapers down to a point you could cut glass with. Her eyebrows are perpetually locked in a shape like a cartoon seagull, and atop her nose sits a hideous pair of pointed sunglasses that make her eyes look warped and insectoid. You know this woman. She is the school counselor and French teacher. You know for a fact that her name is Umino-sensei, but she insists that her students call her by no name other than Madame la Mère, which I believe is a name taken from Alan Harnham's Jacquemart. Jacquemart? I don't know how to say it in French. Which is a excellent piece of fan fiction that is very long and unfinished.
Okay. Interesting.
Anyway, it's that person.
Yes. Run away.
You, she says in a severe voice. You are a student at Otori Academy, correct? Yes, Madame la Mère, you reply, unsure where she is going with this. Then why, shrieks Madame la Mère, aren't you wearing a school uniform? Out of nowhere, she produces a bullwhip and cracks it hard for emphasis.
Run away.
You look
No.
down and realize to your embarrassment that you have somehow gotten all the way to campus still dressed in your pajamas. That would explain some of the odd stares you got on the way here.
Oh, come on. They didn't say what I was dressed in when I was
They
in
did.
the. They.
When you looked in the
Oh.
mirror, they said explicitly
Oh.
that you're wearing cute
Oops.
pajamas. Yep. Madame Lemare advances on you threateningly, bullet whip at the ready. You're forced to retreat. It looks like you're not going to get any farther until you change into your uniform.
All right, let's go home.
Hike to dorm, southeast. Change clothes?
Yeah. Put on uniform.
Put on uniform. Yeah, change clothes was not accepted by the parser. Put on uniform. Look in closet. You can't see inside since the closet
Open closet.
is closed.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
You open the closet, revealing a school uniform and a kimono.
Put on kimono. No, put on uniform.
First, taking the school uniform. You change out of the cute pajamas, you put on the school uniform.
Go back to campus now. Whatever
West,
directions
north,
there are.
hike to campus.
Okay. Thank you, Amado.
North.
You've got this covered for me because I wouldn't remember all these directions so succinctly.
I'm creating a map in my mind, and I also know where everything is on Otori campus.
Yeah, but it just. No, I can't do it like you do. I don't know.
And now we can go north again.
Okay.
Enormous tower. Here it is, the great soaring tower that emblemizes Otori Academy and serves as home for its chairman. The base where you stand is a shining round mass of windows and ridges, from the top of which projects a fluted and rose-crested marble tower that must be 80 meters tall. Law students navigate by looking for its rounded pinnacle. To the west and east are the classroom and administrative buildings, respectively. North of here is the arched corridor that leads to the half of campus used for recreation, and to the south is the arch that serves as Otori's entrance and exit.
Okay.
which means classroom, administrative buildings, or recreation, cafeteria and club areas and stuff like that.
Yes. Yeah, let's go north.
Arched corridor. This busy vaulted corridor serves as the literal and psychological nexus between the north and south ends of campus. The south end, dominated by the tower, is where learning happens. The north end, dominated by the forest, is where life happens. Or at least that's how it's supposed to work out. To the sides, you are flanked by tall, square classroom buildings, east for the grade schoolers, west for the middle schoolers, and just visible in the courtyard of the middle school building is a glass dome that you know to be the school's prized rose garden.
So really, we can go to the grade schoolers, the middle schoolers, or
Further north to the dorm buildings, not dorm
Yeah.
buildings, the club buildings.
the club buildings.
And we've got
so.
the birdcage also here.
Oh yeah, maybe I just could check out the birds.
I mean, I was speaking,
Yeah,
not literally there.
I know.
Okay, check out the birds.
Yeah,
Go garden.
yeah. Oh,
Dome? That's not something you can enter?
okay.
I guess we have to go west into the middle school area for that. I think you're...
Oh,
I see. It's not here.
yeah,
We can
okay.
see it over there.
Oh, we can see the glass dome.
Right.
Got it. Yeah. Let's go that direction.
Middle school building. You've never been properly inside the middle school building, enrolled as you are in high school, but you're familiar with the courtyard you're now standing in. You're surrounded on all sides by the ivory arches of the middle school building, and you can see some distracted faces peering from the windows overlooking the courtyard. Easily the most distinguishing feature, however, is the greenhouse in the center, the site of the school rose garden. You could go in and check out the roses, head east to the arched corridor, or proceed west to the stately, if sinister, Nemero Memorial Hall. Remember, there's no bad choices because you can't put yourself into a lose state.
That's actually a really good point. Yeah, let's go check out the birds.
All right,
I mean roses.
the Boyds.
The birds.
Inside the greenhouse, you find a luscious, logic and gravity-defying garden packed with roses of all colors, natural and otherwise. A central stone column is festooned with vines of pink and yellow roses, its base hidden in matching brush. Above, the column's capital resembles a vase out of which spill white and orange roses in full bloom. Even the door is surrounded by a green rose wreath. Much of the lower wall is lost amidst variegated. Thank you, English major.
You're welcome.
Rose bushes, and a pair of keen-looking garden shears leans on an unoccupied space. Amidst the embarrassment of roses stands Himemia Anthe, watering can in hand, quietly singing a pretty song about dancing rabbits.
This is actually like speaking of the many. There's been like 3 times you've asked me for word pronunciation. Mm-hmm. So ironic that I mispronounced pronunciation, but this was written very verbosely. I like it though. Okay, so we should talk to Anthe.
If I say talk to Anthe, you know what's going to happen. It's going to tell you to ask her about something.
Anthe about roses.
Working in the rose garden makes me feel like someday I might be as kind as the rest of the students here, says Anthe. These bushes would all wither away without my help. It makes me very sad when I lose even one flower. You almost commiserate with her, but that smile is off-putting. You would be more sympathetic if you were quite sure she meant any of what she just said.
Ask Anthe about Juri.
The time I've spent with Arisukawa has always been very pleasant, says Anthe cheerfully. Smiling, she rests her cheek on her left hand. I hope she treats you warmly. Yeah, I hope so too, you think.
Ask Anthe about herself.
This is, of course, all dripping with sarcasm because she's been slapped for sure.
Yep.
About Anthe. Pleased to meet you. I'm Himemia Anthe in the 8th grade. I tend roses for my brother. Please treat me kindly. Anthe's voice drips sweetness, and she delivers most of the speech with her eyes closed and a bright smile on her face. Something is wrong, but you can't quite put your finger on it.
Many things are wrong. Take her away from the dark place. No.
Or we can seduce her.
Oh my god. I just hated how gross the last pickup line was, but I do want to see what happens.
Morbid fascination.
Yeah.
Seduce Anthe. You must be Jamaican, you snark seductively, because Jamaican me crazy. Actually, I'm Indian, smiles Anthe. Mon, you add under your breath.
Oh my god. That's
Everyone will be incredibly painful if you do it. I'm just going to try to tempt you into doing it.
I know, it's like the devil. pulling on me to say horrible pickup lines that are not okay.
Only the worst pickup lines here.
Oh god. All right. So I think we've done enough here. We've done enough damage.
Remember the first rule of text adventure games?
Oh, we forgot to look.
No. Look just
Right.
tells you what you saw when you came in.
Oh, okay.
The first rule of text adventure games is
Oh, we need to loot it.
right.
Let's loot the greenhouse, Amado.
Loot greenhouse. It doesn't know the verb loot.
Oh, like look. Well, we already looked at it. What did we do? Take something. Take.
You can take something, or you can take all, which is a
Oh,
convenient,
take all. Yes.
convenient action.
Yes, take all.
Oh, we can't take all in this game. I'm sorry.
Oh.
So you have to take something specific.
Well, what did we see? See, I have played a lot of text adventure games, but it has been a hot minute, so I like that you're reminding me. Can we take roses?
Take roses.
Out of
That's
curiosity.
hardly portable, it says.
Wait,
Take
just
a rose.
one.
Which do you mean? The rose vines, the rose wreath, the rose bushes, or the orange rose?
The orange rose.
Take orange rose. You reach for an especially gorgeous orange rose. Without turning around, Anthe says, "Don't bother, Arisagawa-senpai doesn't like roses."
Okay, Anthe.
Take wreath.
Yeah.
Not portable. There's some
yeah.
shears. I'm just going to give it to you. There's some shears right there.
Well,
Oh, Anthe's probably using those. It's been a while since I played this game.
yeah. It's,
Maybe there's nothing to take.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know anything I would want in here. Let's
Take Anthe. No, that's the same result as Seduce Anthe. That is a thing.
That's
okay.
hilarious. Okay.
Yeah, maybe there's nothing to take. Maybe I'm leading you wrong.
Take stone column.
Take a column. It's just going to say that's hardly portable.
Yeah.
All right. We can go somewhere else now.
Yeah, I guess that was the only thing we could take. So yeah, let's go. What were other options? So we were at the middle school area.
There's the elementary school, high school, administrative buildings. There's Nimuro Memorial Hall, and there's the kind of club area to the north.
Let's check out the club area.
East. Wait.
Oh no, we.
West. Oh,
No,
we need to leave the greenhouse.
Oh, I see.
Go out. All right. East, north.
There we go.
Main quad. The grass-covered main quad of Otori Academy sprawls before you. On a beautiful Saturday like today, the quad is the center of campus social life. You see a number of classmates, couples, and cliques amid the general friendly buzz of the quad's slopes. Just to the north is the equally crowded athletic field, with the forest looming behind it, while the arched corridor between the elementary and middle school buildings leads south toward the tower. To the west is the activity building where sporty clubs like kendo and fencing are likely to meet.
Oh yeah, we should definitely go west.
To the east is the cafeteria, but it doesn't say that. I wonder if it lets you go there.
Huh.
Anyway, west.
Yeah, we're just gonna go to the sporty place.
Activity building grounds. Overlooking the main quad on this spot is the activity building, where some of the sportier clubs conduct events. The entrance opens to your west in a majestic arch. The main quad is back the other way to the east. Just south of you and practically adjoining the activity building is stately Nemuro Memorial Hall, of which you've heard ill-defined rumors.
Okay, can we? Well, I mean, what do we see here?
The entrance to the activity building.
Yeah, we can enter the activity building, right?
Activity building. This confusing building has been repurposed repeatedly over the years and contains a variety of conflicting architectural styles, all of them gorgeous. For example, a traditional sliding door to the south leads to the kendo room, dark, resonant, and sacred, while a tall double door to the north opens onto the airy fencing room, 3 stories high and lit by 3 enormous windows.
Let's go to the fencing area.
You're honed in. The fencing room is crowded with a couple dozen students of both sexes. Foils clash and heels scrape
Both
against...
sexes.
Yeah, all of the sexes.
All
Both
of the
them.
two.
All of the two. Foil... Look, you have to choose. It's Utena.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. How
Right.
could I have forgotten?
It's a dichotomy that's completely unbreakable.
Yes.
The official Utena game, by the way, is kind of addressing the virgin or whore thing, except it being Utena, it's like you can be a princess or you can be a witch.
Ooh.
Because, those are the
Yeah.
terms in which you would talk about things in an Utena context.
Fair enough. Though, I mean, that was all about the virgin whore dichotomy. But Yeah, let's go for the witch. Always.
I didn't say you got to choose in this game. Sorry.
Ah, darn.
If we could be a witch, we'd be all over that.
No, I know. But it's an interesting thought process, right? Like, where do you land on that particular issue when you have the reinforced gender roles and you're given them in like a secondary source?
And so the villainess gets to have, a dialogue if you choose that path, right? With Utena, where she's, ranting on about this stuff. And Utena's like, no, I'm not like either of those things. And she's like, you just,
Yeah.
you're just like, you just haven't chosen yet. Like, you got to pick.
Yeah.
You're just immature
Yeah.
and, whatever.
That's really good. I love that. And I mean, that's the whole thing about Uno that makes it so good is it's like not role limiting. It's breaking the rules.
Breaking the roles.
Of course, Uno's the only one who's really doing that. But I mean, Juri is doing it to some extent. Some people are, but Juri gets trapped. So that's unfortunate.
Speaking of Juri,
Yes.
in the kendo
we see
room,
her?
the fencing room,
I
you bob,
love-
not the kendo room, the fencing room, you bob, weave, and occasionally throw an elbow so as not to be bowled over. The room is vertically enormous, 3 stories tall, a balcony halfway up the back wall above the equipment locker, and 3 windows that together occupy the whole of the wall across from you. The whole has an exciting but artificially streamlined feel that matches the sport taking place inside it. Punctuating the sounds of steel and rubber like clockwork every few seconds is this crisp word, next! It issues from the mouth of, oh god, it's her. Arisagawa Juri stands against all comers, looking terrifying and beautiful.
I feel like I'd have more investment in this game if I was like in love with Juri in some fashion, but I'll try to get in the mindset of this character. I wouldn't just approach her. That would be too bold. Can we, I don't know, watch?
Watch Juri. She's the reason you came to Tory, the most beautiful woman you've ever laid eyes on, but more than that, a monomaniac in a cause you haven't been able to fathom. Your heart beats fast and you feel your mouth dry up.
Get water?
Get water? You can't see any water.
Because my mouth is dry. Come on.
Spit.
All right. Let's see if we can. We don't see any specific people we can speak to other than Juri, huh?
Ask student?
Yeah.
No student.
No. I
Look
guess.
fencers? No.
No. I guess our only option might be to talk to Juri.
I think Juri is the thing we can interact with in this area, but we might need to come
Yeah.
back once we have something else to do with her.
I mean, I almost feel like it doesn't fit the narrative to speak to her like so boldly at this point. But I
Seduce
guess.
Juri.
Oh no, we're not ready for that. No one's ready for that. We could ask Juri about fencing.
Next, calls Juri. She's either completely wrapped up in her fencing or pointedly ignoring you.
Can I fence?
Fence. Nope.
Yeah.
Take sword? No. Take... What's the sword that they use in fencing?
Like rapier or no? What are they? Foil.
Foil. Nope. No foils here. According to the parser.
Yeah, that's okay. I guess we'll just leave.
All right, we're out. Where to now?
Uh,
You don't have to give me directions, just anywhere that you know we can go.
Yeah, just thinking. We could. I guess we'll check out the kendo room. Why not? We're here.
Kendo Dojo. The kendo room is musky with the sense of sweat and incense. There are only a handful of athletes here, all boys, striking each other or practice targets with long bamboo swords, but they make enough noise for 30 people with their terrifying shouts. All are barefoot on the tatami floor and clad in thick armor from the waist up. You wonder if they have enough light to see in this dark, claustrophobic room whose wood paneling is interrupted only by a single row of Spartan windows. Leaning against the back wall with his armor partially off is a tall, green-haired boy you recognize as Saionji Kyoichi, the captain of the kendo club. And hero of campus.
Ask Saionji about kendo.
I wouldn't expect someone like you to understand the beauty of the art that is kendo, says Saionji loftily, but I shall try to explain anyway. It starts with the bamboo used for the swords. The durable, springy material is suitable for use by Olympic pole vaulters, but finds its highest expression in the shinai, whose bamboo slats are bound in circlets of resilient leather. Such a vessel is ideal to receive the fighting spirit of a martial artist. He peers at you. Are you listening?
No.
That was a rhetorical question.
Was that supposed to be Saionji saying that?
No, that's the parser saying that.
Oh, okay. Ask Saionji about Juri.
Juri.
Yeah.
A weak soul, scoffs Saionji. Then, momentarily panicked, he shoots a glance over your shoulder. Seeing no one listening to him from across the hall, he regains his composure and continues. Whenever she gets upset, she drops whatever she's doing and runs home to take a shower. I'm serious. She puts up a front of bravery, but she has no spine at all. He double-checks to make sure no one is listening. Juri showers when she's upset, huh? You didn't know that. You savor that image for a moment.
All right. Let me savoring. Oh, yeah. Seduce Saionji.
I saw no hesitation here. You don't care about Saionji's tender feelings, huh?
Not at all.
Excuse me, Saionji-sama, you simper. Do you have any raisins? His eyes narrow. Why would I have any raisins? He asks suspiciously. No? How about a date? You conclude in your perkiest voice. I don't have any fruit of any kind, answers Saionji, who still seems to be waiting for the punchline. Don't worry, it'll hit him sometime this evening.
Excellent. That one was good. That one was not offensive. I approve. And hilarious. All right. Yeah, I'm done with Saionji.
All right.
So the other things we can do, like, we saw Juri. Our objective is Juri, but I think
We just got a clue from Saionji about what we might eventually need to do to Juri.
Right.
Which is upset her.
Which seems awful.
Oh, if I can spoil the general outlines of this game, we are going to win this game by only the most awful means.
I guess that's very Utena.
It's very... Right.
We're a very Utena character.
We're a very Utena character who's not Utena, yes.
Yes, yeah. Or Anthe.
Like I said, who's not Utena.
Yeah, it's Anthe. It's also, yeah. I hear you. Okay. Well, I don't see a reason to check out the elementary school. I mean, it almost seems like we need to wait for classes to start. I
don't think time passes until...
Oh, okay. So,
it's not that kind of game.
Yeah, I mean, that's what's confusing, is it's like...
It's not that confusing. You check out everywhere and see what is there.
See what's there,
you
yeah.
know?
Okay, well, sure. We're in the middle school building. Oh, well, we went to activity building, sorry.
Yeah.
We came from the middle school. We didn't see the middle school classrooms.
True.
But we're in high school, so I guess we should check out the high school classrooms.
All right, I'm going to walk us back there. East, east, south, south. And here's the tower from which we go west to the classrooms. Classroom building grounds. To your immediate north is a building whose impossible arches make you wish you'd paid more attention in geometry. Its 4 stories are used for certain club activities and as extra classrooms. Where's the high school anyway? Students trickle in and out with distracted looks, most proceeding east in the direction of the tower. There are some classrooms here. We'll go in there.
Yeah.
Classroom building. The usual bright, stately Tory architecture distinguishes these corridors from those of your average high school. This building is used for most of the extracurricular activities that don't involve balls or weaponry. The music room faces the forest to the north, the kitchens used by the culinary arts class extend to the east, and Otori's library occupies much of the west wing. The building's exit is to the south. So no classrooms in this building, I guess, but...
Okay. Even though it says classroom building.
I guess the idea is we are not interested in the classrooms.
Yes.
We, the player, and the character.
Yeah, well, let's go to the music room.
Who might we find there?
I wonder.
You're not sure whether Otori has an orchestra, but it certainly does have a music room. The freakishly tall room is illuminated solely by 3 long vertical windows placed at an offset in the northern wall. In front of the wall stands a grand piano, which has a handsome teak piano bench at its foot. The room is among the quietest places on campus, perhaps for the sake of irony, perhaps because it's waiting for the right performer. Standing by herself in front of the piano is a bored-looking girl with dark blue hair. This must be Kaoru Kozue. How the character knows this, I do not know. Except, I guess, she's just kind of informed on, the famous people on campus,
Right.
meaning Nikki and associated hangers-on.
Right. Well, she's obsessed with the jury and the student council.
Right.
Miki's on the student council, so Kozue. Ask Kozue about Kozue.
Good to meet you. I'm Kaoru Kozue. You have good timing. I was just getting bored. I'm supposed to be in classes, but that's such a waste on a Saturday. The The pool is closed, the quads are a little public, you know who's in the library, which pretty much leaves here. Ask Kozue about Voldemort?
Yes.
No,
About, about, sure, about Voldemort.
There is no reply.
Ask Kozue about music.
Piano? It didn't take music. No.
About Juri.
Ugh, Kozue groans like a cat coughing up a hairball. That girl thinks she's better than everyone else. And everyone just swoons over her, don't they? I mean, she's very pretty, but you'd think people would learn there's no getting with her until someone brings her down a peg. There's nothing wrong with Juri, you insist. You just don't understand her. And you do, snorts Kozue. Well, she's got you there. You do need to find out more about your quarry. Bring her down a peg, though. That's an idea worth filing away.
Oh dear. Ask Kozue about Juri's weakness.
I doubt
I
it.
don't think it's gonna work. But
Ask Kozue how to win the game.
sure.
No, it's not going to let us do that.
I know. About
You know who. I'm curious if it accepts that.
Okay.
Because she mentioned that.
Sure.
You know, Miki. Kozue rolls her eyes.
Ask Kozue about Miki.
Oh, you know my brother, Kozue sighs. And I was hoping I could make friends with a girl. Oh, you know my brother, Kozue sighs. And I was hoping I could make friends with a girl who wasn't just trying to get close to him for once. Fair warning, I won't let you. Miki? Nah, he's cute, but he's not really my type, you hasten to reassure her. Kozue relaxes visibly. I thought not, she says decisively. Okay.
Ask Kozue about showers.
Showers. Nope.
Ask Kozue. I don't even know. The game isn't gonna let you ask much.
Play piano.
Sure.
You get onto the piano bench. Kozue sits down at your left and fills in the harmonic gaps to your rendition of Never Gonna Give You Up. She's playing really loudly for some reason. You practically have to sledgehammer the keys to be heard over her. You're positive everyone in the building can hear you. She's also smirking.
And all we can do is ask people as far as
That's how
we've
dialogue
determined.
works, yeah. I think you
Okay.
can give people things too, but all we have right now is the school uniform, pickup line leaflet, and we are carrying our pajamas for some reason.
Give Kozue pajamas.
Kozue is unimpressed.
Give Kozue his lascivious leaflet.
Kozue is unimpressed.
I can't give her my uniform, then I'd be naked. Alright.
Nope.
Oh,
Doesn't let you do that either.
Well, that's fine. Because I didn't want to do it anyway. Yeah, I can't think of anything else to ask her about. So...
Seduce Kozue.
Oh, right, of course. Fine.
You're calling the shots. I'm not making you do anything. Nope.
Sure, whatever.
I'm invisible, you grin. No, you're not, observes Kozue dryly. Why, can you see me? You ask in mock bafflement. Duh, I can see you, she replies. How about tomorrow night, you conclude with a flourish. Kozue applauds heartily. I'm totally saving that one, she laughs. It's too bad I don't date girls. I mean, she does in the Utena game, but whatever, the Sega Saturn one.
I mean, she should, but anyway. Ask Kozue about girls.
No reply. Yeah, probably
Yeah.
can't do much with Kozue here.
All right, then I guess we should go. You know, I'm tempted to go back to Juri and try to seduce her.
You know, we probably need to wrap this up for the evening.
Yeah.
Probably she's just gonna shout next.
Yeah, that's true.
But, you know, it's worth a shot.
I mean, we probably need to get some information that's going to embarrass her, which makes me feel like a bad person. But
Oh, yeah, it should.
yeah, there you go.
But we're back at Juri, seduce Juri. You clear your throat, which seems to have your heart caught in it just now. I hope you know CPR, you begin uncertainly, because, Juri glares at you. You mumble something inaudible and shrink into the corner. It seems your pickup lines are powerless against a Juri in full battle array. You will have to think of a backup plan.
Can we ask Juri about Juri? That's the only other thing I want to do.
Nope.
Yeah, no, just shout.
Still ignoring us.
All right, fair enough.
She's busy.
Well, yeah, I feel like we got a kind of our feet wet. Is that how you say it?
That's how you say
your
it.
toes wet in this game. I think we're ready to move to the next level when we do determine to advance.
We'll have to come back to this sometime. I think listening to people play text adventure games is unexplored internet content that clearly is going to hit it real big.
Actually, it actually surprises me that that's not
It might be a thing and we just don't
thing.
know about it.
Yeah, we don't know about much, do
We
we?
might be reinventing the wheel here.
Oh, I doubt it's the wheel. It might be something more advanced, like, I don't know, studded tires.
Okay. In any case, yep, we're definitely still at the poking around the game stage. What are your thoughts on the game so far?
I like it. I think the creators definitely put a lot of effort into
Creator singular, but yes.
Yeah, oh sorry, the creator. It actually impresses me this is a single creator too. Put a lot of effort into making all of the areas explorable. I think it would be cool if there were more actions you could take, but text adventure requires so much work, especially if you're a single creator, to do all of this. And they obviously had a lot of passion for Utena.
I remember them commenting about how much work it was to try to just nail down the actual layout of Tory.
Well,
and this,
they
and this
did
was
a-
before a map was translated and like put
Yeah,
online. And I
'cause-
think they ended up saying like, oh, that it was really close to what they did here. There's a few things that are different, but they got all the basic ideas about like where where the club rooms are and where like the administrative building is and where the cafeteria is in like relation to these things, where the south dorms are, or wait, east dorms, where the east dorms are in relation to the campus.
Literally
Yeah.
something that I would have thought impossible. And I like how they identify that once they get to campus, like the definition of north changes.
Right, for your text adventure game purposes, because
Yeah.
that makes total sense because any fan is going to picture that one shot from above of the campus with, the gate and then the tower and then,
Yeah.
the forest in the back.
But they really made it work for their game purpose, and they did it really concisely and neatly. It's not something I would have thought was possible with Utena. Like, you see all these beautiful visuals, but you never think to conceptualize where they are in space. That's kind of part of Utena, right? That everything's
mean-
a little airy and ethereal.
Yeah,
So-
they ratchet that up to
cool.
11 in the movie, but
Oh, well,
even
yeah,
in the
I
TV
mean-
series, yeah.
Yeah, we can't even talk about like architecture and geography in the movie because that's constantly shifting. I believe it seems like it is.
I mean, there's shots where it definitely is, and there's shots where it definitely isn't. But
Like the
it's-
fight between Utena and Juri, where they're in the like MC Escher shifting, like
it's moving
bridges.
less than it is in the opening scene. The opening
True.
scene, things are literally just like kind of floating.
Yeah. Anyway, the all that aside, the author did a great job with that spatial awareness and making all of the characters accessible.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, they're not trying to make it hard for you. Most of the characters are where you would expect them to be.
Yes.
And they didn't do anything really super annoying. I've tried playing text adventure games where time passes. It's unbearable. And then it's like, people moving around according to some kind of schedule or whatever.
Right.
It requires a different kind of gamer.
But that's fair because, for me, I was thinking like, well, if time were to pass in this sort of game, that might give us more openings to what we're doing. But I think what they've done is create barriers based on, like Juri is in a really tied up situation right
Right.
now. So to figure
So we need to
things
get her
out.
somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly.
And we've gotten a couple hints about, like, we want to embarrass her or fluster her or make her upset somehow in order to get her to stop doing kendo. I'm saying Juri doing kendo. Stop doing fencing.
Yeah. Well, and that absolutely makes sense for the character. It's just, it is kind of a hard sell to come in as like pretty nice person and be like, oh, I'm playing this kind of like shitty person who is going to win my love deliberately through making them upset.
Oh, yeah.
Like, dang.
That is absolutely the game plan here.
It's pretty Utena. And maybe in a way it puts you in a mindset of like the kind of shitty teens that the Utena characters are, but it is kind of hard to want that as the player.
I think it's part of the commentary here is that they said, there's something very, it's deliberately kind of, self-inserty, author avatar-y. And so it's like, fans who are way into Juri, and then it's just like incarnating you as a Utena character who only cares about that, and
Right.
is willing to do whatever it takes to get to that point.
I guess maybe that's what I've been missing about Juri fans all along. I don't know. Because for me, like watching Utena, all the characters are so shitty, it's hard to like any of them at all. But like growing older, I've grown more empathy for them. Utena I've always liked as a character, but even she has some mistakes. But it's a lot easier to forgive them through like, because she seems more like an outsider,
Yeah.
like
Well, she's positioned that way for sure.
right. Like she's naive and she makes mistakes, whereas everyone else seems to know what's going on and
just do terrible things.
yes, kind of very deliberately to like fit their archetype. So I guess that's the challenging part of Utena is like anybody who likes a character who's not Utena or Anthe, because Anthe has like an empathy arc of understanding like her experience. It's kind of hard to like understand that as a fandom, I suppose.
All right, well, clearly we're exploring new fandom grounds in your mind of being a terrible, shitty shipper of some kind. And we will come back to this if there's any desire for it, or if we have another time when we can't do anything else.
Yeah, I mean, it's been fun and definitely interesting to kind of get into a different mindset.
All right. So for now, that's the end of us playing the Utena fan text adventure game Miracles Never Cease. You can find that hosted on otori.nu, but it's kind of hosted there from a forum thread. And I can provide a link to it, which is played on Frauds. I'm using WinFrauds, which is a game for playing text adventure games. I'll provide a link to the game itself at bit.ly/RFR. We'll do MNC because that's the abbreviation for the program. Miracles Never Cease, MNC. bit.ly/RFR MNC. Abbreviation central over here. This was more or less an episode of Retro Fanfic Retrospective.
This is an episode of Retro Text Adventure Retrospective.
Excuse me, Retro Fan Text Adventure Retrospective.
Oh, yes, of course. Our new podcast.
Like I said, interactive fiction is, a proper term for this, so...
Yeah, well, it really is that.
Retro Fan Interactive Fan Fiction... Wait. Retro Fan Interactive Fiction. Retro Interactive Fan Fiction.
Yeah. Retrospective.
Retrospective.
Which is pretty cool, Like, it's a fan fiction that allows people to engage with it. It's like, there were choose your own adventure fanfics back in the day. And there must still be. I remember a lot
Really?
of those, actually. Yeah, I do.
Oh, no, yeah. Those things do exist. You're right.
Yeah, they're actually quite common, but instead of doing like a typical choose your own adventure, like flip to this page, it would be like the readers would vote on what they wanted to see next.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. But
They give you like 4 options, like, do you want this, this, and this? Or like sometimes it'd just be a write-in.
what I remember there is that those things would branch endlessly and never conclude, and you'd end up with like a couple of branches that went on forever, and other ones where it's just like, oh, well,
Yeah.
we didn't write anything for them.
And it'd be really hard to read because you wouldn't know which branches to click on to
one's
like
which,
find
yeah.
the story. Or like some of them would start and like go like 3, different segments and never do anything.
All right. Oh, yeah. We should I would almost say we should try to read one of those, but I don't know of any that actually are supposed to be good.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Well, it's too many factors, I think, maybe.
Right. Well, it would be like reading a single thread, which kind of removes the point of it being interactive.
Correct, yes. And also, I think a lot of those just never got off the ground. It's a great concept, but I've never read one that really got to a conclusion at all.
Anyway, this was more or less an episode of Retro Fanfic Retrospective. It's going to be labeled Special Episode 2, I believe, if it goes up.
Yeah, it's Retro Fanfic's special episode.
The intro song to the podcast? Well, are we going to use the same intro song?
That's up to Dom.
All right, then
I
I'll
think.
let Dom say it if there's an intro song or an outro or whatever.
You're gonna make Dom do that for us?
Yeah, I'm gonna
Okay.
force Dom to do it as payment for
Okay.
not being here.
Even though they have the flu?
Yeah,
Okay.
let that be a lesson. Don't get the flu.
I think you've been watching too much Utena.
I got my flu shot. I don't know about
Yeah.
all you all. Anyway, there may or may not be an intro song or outro song, and they may or may not be by Komiku. You can find our website at retrofanficretrospective.podbean.com or bit.ly/retrofanfic. And we've also got, a Facebook at retrofanfic, and a Twitter at retrofanfic, and a Reddit at fanfic retrospective. Reddit account, I guess. We don't have like a subreddit to ourselves. We could make one, but I'm not sure there's any point. I hang out on the fanfiction subreddit sometimes, though. The only one that anyone should
Yeah.
pay any attention to.
Catch Amado on the fanfiction subreddit and
As fanfic retrospective, occasionally.
surfing the Reddit waves.
And if you've got questions, comments, or thoughts about the episode, contact us on Twitter at retrofanfic or send us an email at retrofanficretrospective@gmail.com. Any comments about our experimental things like this? If you'd like to see more of this or more weird side things that are not like this or whatever, let us know what you think. I'm Amado.
I'm Tory.
We're just two Earth life forms trying to seduce another one at any cost. Until next time, take care.
Bye.
This week, the opening song was Disco Challenge from the album Hella's Awesome Dance Adventure by Komiku. The ending song is Still Run Against the Universe from the album Popey's Incredible Adventure, also by Komiku. You can find those albums and other works by Komiku at loyaltyfreakmusic.com.
Okay. Revolutionize world.
Revolutionize world. Shit, you don't mess around, do you?
Is that what it says?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
That's the
No,
whole
I
response.
don't. I don't mess around. Thank you for noticing. Text adventure Utena game where I have to seduce Juri, even though I'm not that interested.